Okay, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to set up volunteer opportunities on myCharity. You've already set up products, you've published your account, now it's time to recruit some volunteers. So, we're back at our setup guide. Again, please excuse the little check marks here. Products will be done and checked off. We've got just a little bug that I'm going to go back and fix. By the time that you're seeing this, it won't be there. So first, let's go down to creating your first volunteer opportunity. So again, you know how to recruit volunteers, you know the importance of volunteers. I'm not going to go through too much on what you need and why you should be setting up volunteer roles. That's pretty self-explanatory. So first, we're going to go right into create a volunteer opportunity. And guys, this is as easy as it gets. So first, and as always in this, I apologize, we've already got 4 different volunteer opportunities prepped in the back end for myCharity. So the very first thing that I need is we need volunteer photographers. So let's add volunteer photographer for myCharity. That is our post, and then a little description on what we need these volunteers to be doing. So we can space it out to make it look all nice. Nothing too crazy there, but again, super easy. Now, remote versus not remote. And this is where I talked about a little bit in products on getting creative with what your organization can do on myCharity. I would highly recommend coming up with some remote volunteer opportunities. We've got at least one in here. Unfortunately, we need photographers in the field, so this is not a remote role. And then the only other thing that we need to do is set an expiry date. So we are actually going to be phasing this out. So what I would recommend, unless you have a specific date, that's what I'll back into this. We're going to be updating this to where it's going to have specific dates. So if you need to volunteer on Friday, October 31st for a Halloween event that you have coming up, we're going to be updating that. So it doesn't necessarily have an expiry date unless it is date specific, because we need photographers year round and on a rolling basis. And then boom, create a volunteer opportunity. And just like everything else, when you create a post, we're gonna build social media graphics for you in the background. And so it's super easy to share. And I mean, again, I could not be more excited for this feature and what we are doing. So volunteer photographer for myCharity, boom, share it, email yourself those graphics, whatever you want to do. And then you can close down, repeat, and you are good to go. Now we've got a few more volunteer opportunities. I think you understand the posting. You've seen a few videos and can see how that works. But as always, what you can do is go over here in the corner, click volunteering and see what's going on. And I want to walk through this a little bit because it looks different than what we saw in products where it's a much simpler dashboard. And the reason this is because you are going to be getting applications. So we don't have any applicants come in yet, as we just posted that 28 seconds ago, but you will start to see lines of people come in through here. Will Hedrick has applied for the volunteer photographer at myCharity role. You'll click on it similar to these 3 buttons right here where you can edit or share right over here, and you'll see the applicant's information with their email so you can directly reach out to them. As well, you'll see up here applications, and last 7 days of applications come in. But again, super easy. Don't be afraid to click around and get comfortable with it. And you can create that volunteer opportunity up there. But again, that is the super easy way to create volunteer opportunities on myCharity. And again, go back home to your setup guide when you're done. And please excuse the check marks down here. We're going to update that super quick, so that won't be an issue there. But again, you can post that volunteer opportunity, create another whenever you want, and again, super easy to go through. And so next, we're going to be posting our first fundraiser on myCharity and going through some of the best practices there in the next lesson. So let's go ahead and dive into that.